Before judging Deltarune characters for their crimes, we need to answer a few basic questions. If you don't care about these details, you can skip to this time code. First, the location of hometown. We know it's somewhere in the United States because the local currency is the USD, but that doesn't give us any info on the state. We'll just make an assumption and put hometown in California, because their laws are similar to most states and are easily accessible on the internet. Next, most events of Deltarune can be classified under force majeure. Basically, the law never accounted for a dark world to spawn in your school closet, and therefore, everyone committing crimes in this context shouldn't be held accountable. But this would ruin the whole point of the video, so we'll just ignore it for today. Most characters in Deltarune are minors, so they have a different legal system that applies. But it's quite complicated and it's also not very accessible, so we'll ignore that and we'll classify everyone as adults. So far, we don't have much info regarding the soul, but from what we know, we can say it doesn't count as an independent juridical entity. Therefore, Kris, with or without the soul, will be considered with no differences. I know it kind of breaks the whole point of their character, so if we ever get more details on the soul in the future, we'll consider splitting the two. Okay, rapid fire. When given the choice, we'll assume that characters always go for the most legal option. We're considering the events of an old recruit's old boss's route, and maybe we'll cover Snowgrave another day. Every info is up to date as of chapter 4, November 2025. Finally, I'm not an expert in law, I just searched the internet. So if you have any corrections to give, comments are open. And with that out, we can start. Around the area, we can count 5 Jigsaw that were beaten up, plus the one who's talking, so... Throughout chapter 1, Susie goes rogue, attacking everyone on sight. None of those were premeditated, so they are second degree, and in total, I counted 15 of them. Unlike other enemies in the chapter, this attack was premeditated, so they can be categorized as first degree. The gang was put in prison with no apparent reasons and skipping any forms of justice. In this situation, a roller coaster does count as a deadly weapon. So this one is complicated. Both Giga Queen and Trash Machine can be considered weapons of mass destruction, and legislation regarding these is obviously very strict, but also hard to access on the internet. This even got me banned on ChatGPT. But what I got from this is that there are no circumstances in which operating a weapon of mass destruction could be justified, even for self-defense.
Mamma mia!
Here, Susie opens a fountain, knowing fully well that it may cause the roaring. This can be qualified as an omnicide, basically the wipeout of every form of life. In the end, no one died from this, so Susie narrowly avoids the death penalty. Bam! Jumping in to tell you this video is sponsored by me! If you're liking this video, you can support me with memberships. For only $3 per month, you get access to perks like shoutouts and early access to videos. So if you can afford it, help out a broke college student and become a member. If you can't pay, you can still subscribe, it helps out a lot. Anyway, back to it. So technically, Kris doesn't know that Spamton will use the power for destruction, but I would argue there were some obvious signs that this was a shady business and illegal. We can assume most scenes like this are part of the TV show with a competent crew to ensure safety. We can count ripping the soul out as self-defense because there is evidence that Kris is endangered by it. But once they are free from the soul, it doesn't pose much more threat, so...
You're too bright.
Alright, that's the video. Tell me in the comments which characters you want to see next. Make sure to subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!